Yeah, Solar Flare is mentioning basically the premise of this wonderful episode 5, season 3, Smallville, right? Wonderful. Perry, the episode titled Perry. Any any fans maybe know this is in reference to a very
I'm joking over here because are you kidding me? This is the worst piece of shit episode I've ever seen in my life.
no
What kind of
no,
lying crap is going on right now?
no, dude, that's next week.
Okay. Well, you know what? The only reason why this week beats next week is because of the song at the end. If we don't have the song at the end, we have nothing except for an adult trying to harass children.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hold on, let's get to even more of it. A drunk adult harassing children. He's not even sober.
Yeah, he's blackout pretty much most of the time.
The entire episode. I don't think there is one time where this man is completely sober. Because otherwise, he's taking a swig.
Yeah, Perry White. I don't know if anyone knew. Yeah, he's a raging alcoholic.
Yeah, and also whenever there's a story, he likes to hide that story unless it involves children, because then he gets to harass them. I'm going to keep bringing this up the entire episode. I don't think I'm ever going to let it go. This man is an adult.
Hey, man. Relax, dude.
These are 16-year-olds.
Yeah. We actually have 2 comic characters, actually. Didn't know really about the other one. But...
oh, you talking about the other part of this episode where Lex then tries to fool a therapist, be like, I don't really have to do this. Lex is also an idiot this episode. Everyone seems to kind of suck. Why do I have Smallville sucking?
No, they don't suck, no. But Perry, Perry White, who's popular amongst being the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet in the comics. He's usually who's going to eventually become Clark's boss, Lois' boss. Anyone who works at the Daily Planet, that's their boss.
Should I get into the DC sidebar then to describe the Perry character right now? Or do you want me to wait until we see him at the bar drunk? And then I can go into the DC sidebar.
No, we can have some, brief comic intro because, we already have the title of the episode, Perry. We know who it's about.
I wonder what it means.
Yeah, what does that one mean? Got me. But Perry White is played by the Michael McKean. And any current fans of Better Call Saul know that Michael McKean is Chuck McGill in Better Call Saul. Plays the older brother of Jimmy McGill, and he plays that role very well. You borderline hate him.
So I borderline hate him in this. Actually, I think I do hate him in this. So I feel like this is just a reoccurring theme with the roles that he plays. I'm not gonna lie, for me, what children film was he a part of? Was he a part of like a Disney movie or something?
Dude, I think you're right, because I know for sure. Well, right here, look, Clue. He played Mr. Green.
Clue, I remember. Clue, I wouldn't call like a children's thing, though.
He plays Lou, Grandpa Lou Pickles in Rugrats.
He plays Lou?
It's a TV series short. Oh, this is the new one, dude.
Oh, that would make sense. I was very confused there. I can't believe that.
What are you thinking, though? Like, you said a children one? Dude, he's been around a long time.
I was thinking, like, for some reason, Beethoven is the one that's sticking in my head. And I think that's wrong. But for some reason, Beethoven is the one that keeps sticking out. I think I'm wrong.
Dude, he was in the TV movie, The History of White People in America.
Oh, that's probably what I was thinking of. I usually watch those type of documentaries. They're my favorite. Coneheads, that's what it is.
That's right, he's in Coneheads.
That's what this is. Okay.
Because he's like the villain. Yeah, like the one who wants him out.
Yeah, he's working with the other guy, and they're the two that are trying to uncover that they were aliens. Yes.
That's what it is.
That's where he's from.
So your childhood movie,
is an SNL skit.
Yeah. And, he actually had one small role in Lois and Clark, the new Superman, or the new Adventures of Superman back in the day. Had even an episode in Friends. Dude, he's been around. He's been in some Star Trek episodes, Saturday Night Live, Pinky and the Brain, dude. Like, get out of here, bro. And fun fact, did you know this? He's married to Annette O'Toole.
Really?
They've been married.
You know what? That probably explains why he was so drunk this episode. He just couldn't see her around John, so he just kept drinking and
You want me to
drinking.
guest star on your show?
Is that what you want?
Do I have to do with your show husband?
What is he going to do? Is he going to grab your ass again on the table? I don't think I want to see that. Annette.
Do I have to sign another document allowing that to happen? To get back to, of course, Perry White being the main center of attention here, the premise of the episode today is there is a solar flare happening in the town, and Clark's powers are just going back and forth, which make no sense, and we'll get into that later. But he's dealing with that while Perry is in town, kind of witnessing all that Clark is doing. And it becomes this whole kind of like cat and mouse chase, really, of like trying to catch a good story for Perry to snap. Because he's like the TMZ person right now.
But let's go to that DC sidebar here, where we have Perry White, where his first introduction was in Superman number 7. So it started out very, very early. What I do want to get into as far as telling a backstory of the character was that when he was young, him and Lex Luthor were actually best friends in the comics. Where that friendship went away, that's what I want to get into. Again, this is a comic book reference. So Perry began to despise his childhood best friend Lex Luthor when the now ruthless media Mongol attempted to shut down the Daily Planet. So Lex trying to shut down the Daily Planet.
Okay.
It was revealed that Luthor had lied to Perry's longtime girlfriend, Alice, who later becomes his wife. Lex told this woman that Perry had died in the war. Why would Lex tell her this? So that he could sleep with her.
Yeah.
And when Perry came back from the war and found out what Lex did, he was disgusted, and all he wants to do now is tear down Lex Luthor by going through the news. But he's going to do it in a legal way, even though the moment you sleep with the man's wife, because Alice does become the wife, and he somehow forgives her. I don't know how he did it. Perry should only try to tear down Lex. And in fact, I wish they would have done this in the Smallville episode. I think it would have tied everything together a lot better.
Maybe. Kinda. Yeah, it would be cool, especially because, like you said, the whole relationship with Lex.
Or with Lionel, even. What if he did it to Lionel? Like, Lionel and him had that type
They
of
were
thing
the
back
ones
in the
that
day.
grew up together and
Yes.
stuff. Because, yeah, he looks more closer to Lionel's age, actually. So that would work.
Yeah, so maybe they should have kind of gone that route. We've already had that hinted with Lionel and his son before of having sex with the same woman. Why not Lionel and Perry?
I would like it better. I would like it better. And
If they had to compete over Martha's attention this episode.
Oh,
and John
Lord.
is just the third guy on the sideline going, what the hell are y'all doing at my house? That would actually be pretty great. I would much prefer my episode idea versus what we got.
Yeah, hey writers, can y'all go back and fix this?
We're gonna send in what our script should be.
Yeah. Oh man. And we're starting off big. Really big.
By the way, I do want to mention this. So, obviously, I'm not going to get too much into it, even though I would love to. I thought whenever this episode first started, and we see the meteor right now going into the sun, I thought they were going to do some, like, white kryptonite.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that's what this was leading to, because why does the meteor just look so damn white whenever it's striking the sun? I usually think that meteors are gray because they're supposed to be rocks, not some bright white thing that's then blasting into the sun as if it's a ship.
I don't know. And yeah, and Clark is really loving it. He's somehow... Like, why is he's so intrigued by the solar flare on the news? Because it gets reported. There's a large solar flare happening. It's going to be disrupting a lot of things. It's like, whoa, what's going to happen? And so... Clark is looking at that. It looks like he's working on sun things.
It's some school science fair project is what my guess is. He even does explain it, though. As Martha and John walk in, obviously Jonathan is carrying 2 bags of groceries, and he says, Clark, get your ass over here and help us out. My God, my hands are full. So Clark then says, oh, sorry, Dad. I was just so infatuated with these solar flares and the effects they have on the Earth's atmosphere. According to NASA, this is going to be one of the biggest flares ever recorded. And guess what? It's kind of a relief that they're talking about some natural disaster that has nothing to do with me. Oh my God, Clark. Really? So you're only thinking about yourself during a solar flare, being like, this is great, I get to watch something that has nothing to do with me? Isn't that regular television?
That's right. That's right. Clark loves solar flares. We all love them. We love them so much. And so he helped the groceries. He's like, all right, I'm dipping. Gonna meet Pete at the talent. Gotta do some work. Oh, man, we miss Pete, huh?
I love Pete so much here, let me tell you.
And so now it's being shown that the comet is impacting the magnetic fields on Earth. And, of course, then we cut to a bar. Someone's taking a shot of whiskey, maybe?
The screen on the news then fades into another scene where we are now watching individuals at a bar watching also this news special. This is the person that we are to assume is going to be Perry, because for God's sake,
it's Michael McKean.
He's on the cover of the episode too.
Yeah.
But he's telling the bartender, isn't this fascinating? The bartender then says, yeah, great. I'm going to turn it back on the game now, and you seem a little bit drunk. Can you keep it down?
Yeah, he's like laughing to himself, cracking jokes, and he's like, to Littleville, Kansas, and all the little Kansasians in it.
That's not what you do whenever you're new to a town, is then say, you're all a big bunch of pussies, have a shot.
So basically, the bartender is then kicking out Perry White, and Perry's like, look, you're going to have some trouble if you're going to cut me off.
What trouble are they going to have, by the way? Do you see what Perry looks like? What is he going to do?
He looks like shit.
He looks like ass.
Looks like he found that suit on the side of the road.
That's exactly what he looks like. Where then two guys come up, just throw his ass out. What we do find out is the bar he was in was the Wild Coyote.
Dude, how's it not shut down yet, bro?
People have died in this place. The bartenders have died in this place.
There was a body in the freezer.
And yet,
that is not up to safe code regulation.
The good news is all they decided to do was, you know what? Let's just replace the bartender.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
But as you can see by the bouncers, they've gotten a little safer there.
Yeah. And so they kick him out, right?
I do want to mention this before you go on, because when it comes to this scene in Perry, this was morning at what, 8 a.m.?
Probably.
Why is the bar so packed, and why is there a football game on?
It's like today, dude.
Oh, you know what? If it's a Sunday and it's a London game, you got me there.
Yeah, it's a London game.
You know what?
Yeah, it's a college London game. Because remember, he said the Metropolis Sharks.
Oh, God, this is going to be so good. I love this
Metropolis Sharks go international. But now we see that Perry is driving, Michael McKean, because I don't think they revealed he's Perry yet.
I'm still going to call him Perry.
I know, but still, officially, they haven't revealed it. But so he's driving. He's clearly drunk. He has a badge that he works for X Styles.
Yeah, X Styles.
Like I guess this is like the TMZ part I was talking about.
And what they really do, because what we'll figure out later on, Chloe explains, they're a supernatural company. They're like the ghost hunters. Yeah, and they go and they try to find whatever supernatural is happening in a town, but the TMZ of them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like some tabloids and whatnot. So Clark is running around, and all of a sudden, because he was going to go meet Pete, right?
Yes.
So he's speed running, and all of a sudden he slows down, he stops, and he manages to get right in front of Perry when he's driving on the road, and causes Perry to crash. A super bad crash, by the way.
Hits the pole. The pole then comes crashing down on top of the car. We have now lightning, or not lightning, but we got electricity.
The power lines.
Yeah, we have the wires everywhere, where then Clark is having to rip open the door to Perry's car. He takes him out. He puts him on the grass in a safe place. Perry is so shithouse that he is looking at 3 of Clark and saying, how would you been able to do all that?
You walked right through the power lines? You just ripped off my door.
You're a little drunk, Mr. White. Perry White.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now we have the intro. Okay, so...
Okay, so you know what's crazy is that Michael McKean, with the whole X-Styles thing, is that obviously... did you think X-Files? Because it's obviously a play on X-Files, no?
No, I put in my notes that there's going to be no villain in this episode, and it's going to be complete trash. Yeah. That's what I put in my notes after
Perry
seeing
is the villain.
Okay. I'm gonna get into it here in the next scene, so I don't want to spoil anything. But the man is drunk right now, completely shit faced, where he now just automatically believes he saw what he saw. I get that, sure, it's pretty obvious that Clark has powers, but when you're this drunk, I'm not sure if you could say that you were in your own sane of mind to be able to make these type of calls. Unless you're such an alcoholic that this amount does just not affect you. He is so drunk.
Well, he's kind of, I don't know. I mean, do you think he's always doing this?
I'll put it to you this way. If I'm Clark and I have my backpack and then Perry swerves in the road and then I have to save him, what I'm going to tell everybody is that I was waiting for the bus and I was trying to get to school. And then this random drunk ass was driving down the road and then swerved and then hit a telephone pole. That's what I would be telling everybody, because that's believable.
It was him, sir. He ran into me.
Yeah, that's all that Clark would have to say in this scene. Obviously, as we'll get to, it's going to get to somewhere else. I was just hoping that with the intro to a Perry White, this would have been like an event that was happening with a villain. Clark then saves the day, and Perry is on the sidelines then witnessing and then having to write down everything that he saw. Like, that's how he was able to see Clark's powers. They took such a different route of just making the person a drunk, and that's that. I just think that this episode was very lazy, and it's almost like Smallville creators and writers ran out of ideas for this week and then said, what should we do? Hey, have we done an episode of Perry White? No, we haven't. Let's do that.
Yeah!
And this was what they came... Oh, well, I forgot that was today. Let's just make him drunk. He... Drunk? Okay, that's the theme.
Yeah, he's going through it. He's going through it.
I want to get to the Clark barn. We now have Clark working on the chores outside of the barn here. He has his regular posts, and he is just driving those posts into the ground without any type of tools. Because
seen this before.
I know, we have seen this before. Because he does this in front of people, including Lana. But it's just Clark living the day as if nothing ever occurred.
But the third post, when he's putting it in, it actually manages to go like severely all the way into the ground.
And then John comes out of nowhere and says, damn, Clark, take it easy. You're going to have to fix that.
Yeah, fill up that hole.
I misjudged my strength there, Dad. I apologize. Well, I wanted to come out here to tell you, it seems that your Mr. Perry White that you helped saved, he has checked him out of the hospital. I gotta know, Clark, what the fuck did you show him? Clark is then having to explain to Dad, you know what? He didn't see anything. He was drunk. I'm sure it wasn't a big deal. And who do we see pulling up on the back of a truck?
A Mexican truck.
Wait, what?
He said, Pedro, can you take me to the camps? I need to go to the camps. I don't have any money. I just got out. I'm Perry White.
That would be really racist.
Yeah, pinche X-Styles, fool. Yeah, that's me. Perry White. Hey, look me up. I'll give you my number.
What we really have happened then is the Mexican drives away, and Perry then hops...
Pedro, I'll catch you later.
Perry then hops off the back of the truck and then starts walking up to John and Clark, just saying, you know what? It's not every day that you see a guy walking through some power lines and then ripping off a door. Hey, by the way, everybody, I'm Perry. Nice to meet you. Hey, Perry, get off my property.
No one invited you. Unannounced. You must be Mr. Kent. Yeah, I'm Perry White. Glad you're feeling better. Well, that's relative. My car is Crunch. This hillbilly cartoon you guys call a sheriff has suspended my driver's license on a DUI. That might be the best thing she's ever done.
Sheriff Adams is the worst human being, and we have discussed that Sheriff Adams is completely racist. However, Perry, your license should be suspended, and in fact, it should be taken away.
He got breathalyzed, and he was not of any legal standard there to drive.
I'm so confused on why he was even let out of the hospital at this point and not thrown into jail.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Perry White.
I like that Perry had a Mexican accent, and now he has an English accent. This guy is so worldly. I had no clue.
Perry White. And so now he has his editor screaming for his head, and that's at this point he's indicating he's a reporter. And he's like, in a past life I was. At the moment, I'm an advancement for X-Styles, cable TV's one-stop shop for paranormal activity.
Well, what exactly brings you to Smallville?
I'm researching the meteor shower and the bizarre phenomena that's been happening around here.
John then laughs it off, tries to feel like it's not a big deal.
He does a Clark thing here, and now we know where Clark gets it from.
Yeah, that's exactly where Clark plays it off. The poker face that Clark gets,
he
John.
looks away for a little bit, chuckles, smiles. You believe that stuff?
And Perry, to John's surprise, says, "Hell yeah, I do. That and the Tooth Fairy, I'm all about. What are you talking about, weirdo?"
Okay.
He
believes in the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, because they both then have a giggle on it. I don't know why John is allowing a reporter who saw his son's abilities to hang around his farm and to not kick him the hell out already. Would you not? Would you just be allowing this friendly encounter because he's a drunk?
I mean, after the brief convo, I'd be like, hey, I'll see you later. But, and of course he looks at the post, Perry, and is like, don't you need big equipment for that? It's like, shut up.
And then Clark, he pretty much tries to chase the subject. Be like, Barry.
You didn't come all this way just to, like, meet us or something when you want. It's like, no, I didn't. I thought we should discuss the settlement. Wait.
Yeah, we're going to have to... you want me to play this? I was going to pause this.
No, let it play. And so John's like, settlement? Well, I didn't off-road my car for laughs, Mr. Kent. I swerved to miss your son. So, basically... I'm making it easy on you right here. I need a local who knows the territory to ferry me around, and we can call it even for a couple days. So I'm going to use Clark for that. Let me just start it off by saying, settlement for what, you drunk?
You need to lend me your 16-year-old son so he can show me around this town, because guess what, John? We both know that it was his fault. John takes this. Why would John ever take a drunk coming to his home, saying his son has powers, and then saying, we both know it was your son's fault that I crashed my car, not that I was totally shit-faced. So, John, you know what? You're going to have to listen to me. Otherwise, I'm going to get you back by suing your family. You like the farm? I hear you almost lost it once. Let's not make it twice. John looks like a bitch right now.
Yeah.
He takes this.
Yeah.
He says, okay, I guess I better.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, no.
What happened to I'm his fucking father, John? What happened to that John talking to Jarrell? Where's that guy?
So imagine him trying to actually sue him for that. And the court is immediately going to be like, you were intoxicated.
You were really gone. And the bartenders
would be able to vouch
for that.
The Kent should be suing him for Clark's emotional trauma.
Yeah, how about endangering a child because you were drunk and swerving on the road?
Hello, officer. I'm 16-year-old. He tried to hit me. He's drunk. I can't even drink.
And obviously, with Sheriff Adams suspending his license, that's all the Kents would have to say, and Adams would be on their side.
Yeah.
This seems like a very easy fix, not, looks like we gotta give in to him.
Oh, man, he may be white, blonde, and blue eyes, but I'm never one for a good DWI.
Yeah, by the way, nobody should be, because then you're jeopardizing everybody, not only yourself. Just remember, guys, dare.
Yeah. We stay away from drugs. And alcohol.
Clark doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Now let's get to the Lex mansion.
Oh, Lord. All right.
Okay, all right. You want to take your boy? This is your boy.
Lex is just, it looks like he's talking to himself in the mansion.
Yes.
Just talking about, that's when it was reconstructed. But then I thought I'd go with something more modern, even abstract. Any thoughts, Doctor? And he's drinking mimosas?
And she immediately, because now we have a psychologist, we have the doctor now.
This is now the doctor that was mentioned very briefly at the end of last week's episode by Lionel. This is now the psychiatrist for Lex's 5 sessions, Dr. Claire Foster, who is actually a DC Comics character.
No, and I love that they're now getting more into this. Did you want to take some Claire Foster here?
Oh, I'm just going to say her first appearance, she legit, she was in the Superman Volume 2, number 176, and that came out January 2002.
Wait, so then she was introduced at the same time as the show?
Right around.
Yeah,
because this is 03.
Yeah, so this would have been just her being introduced a year ago.
She's like the Harley Quinn doctor, you know?
I mean, Harley Quinn was like...
Well, no, I'm saying like because Harley Quinn was very new, you know, at the time.
She was introduced in like 94. That still counts.
But she only appeared in the animated series.
And then they brought the animated series into the comics. So yes, even in the comics, it was still 1994.
Just similar as far as like they're very new, yet they get their...
Well, I'll give you this, because they don't even consider Harley Quinn going into the DC universe until she's on the cover with Joker on one of the most famous of all times, and that's like 1999, I think. So yes, before always in the cartoon. Very cool that they first introduced her that quickly and now decided to bring her on the show. I'm assuming it's because even once Smallville was being written, they go, okay, Lex is going to have some trauma. Lex is going to need to speak to a doctor throughout the seasons here, so we're going to have to introduce a character. It would make sense to me. What I actually hate Lex, though, with this scene, why does he think this is going to work?
He's weird for this.
Because the doctor even says, Lex, I thought this would be more productive with our time here. Oh, yeah, I believe the psychological term for refusing to accept the inevitable is denial. And no amount of probing is ever going to be able to uncover these emotional issues that don't exist, Doc.
They exist, all right.
Lex,
just do the sessions, bro.
That's all we talked about with the last time with Lionel saying it's 5 sessions, dude.
You know how shit works. Yeah, you're supposed to talk, but it's like you're talking, because she even says, we haven't talked about anything. We've talked about you and your luxurious life, but how about this? Tell me about the island. Tell me about the fisherman who found you, said you were raving about some imaginary enemy and how you were ill, suffering from malaria. Oh, guess what?
Yes.
Saw your blood work, Lex. You weren't sick.
And all the entire time of him using that malaria excuse has been a big bunch of BS. That is not true.
So then it really comes down to it. Was it really just the heat, hallucinations? Like, was he really just going crazy? Was that the tipping point for Lex, psychologically?
And Lex then tries to, like, maneuver himself out of this by saying, listen, Doc, I agreed to be able to do 5 sessions with you and for us to be able to discuss. And it looks like our final hour is up right now, so it's been fun. I'll see you later. She reports to Lionel, you moron. Why would Lionel ever then accept you just blowing off the sessions? That would never... What do you think she's going to say?
Yeah, I mean,
she has to write a report.
His whole thing was that he wanted him to do this just to get out the way, but of course, he does it wrong. So now it's extended, you know? It's like, imagine if it goes wrong, it's like 5 more sessions because nothing was accomplished. Yeah. Well, I can't give you a proper evaluation.
Do you ever remember, you know, because Smallville, I feel like it takes a lot from some of the greatest movies ever with Good Will Hunting, you know, some Robin Williams and some Matt Damon. Have you not seen that movie before? Eventually, you're going to have to talk. And it's not just being able to sit and hang out and be like, session's over. Sorry, I'm cured. You were on an island. Your wife betrayed you. You then tried to kill your wife the same way. You then had almost a second plane go down on you. I'm pretty sure there's some emotional damage. Oh, by the way, your father keeps sending you women to have sex with that he's already had sex with. So I'm pretty sure there's some underlining things going on here.
Yeah.
Lex is damaged.
Oh, he's a damaged individual,
it's
bro.
It's easy to see.
Just upbringing. I mean, in first season, you knew it. Second season, you knew it.
Speaking about bringing up some emotional damage, let's get to the next scene.
Oh, yeah, baby. So now we have, of course, Clark actually bringing out Perry.
Perry to the talent.
Yeah, and he's like, why am I bringing you here? I didn't think you'd like this place. Like, no, I just need to understand the locals more, kind of get some texture, some background of the place. I hear this is a popular spot.
And what Perry even recognizes too while he is walking in is saying, you know what? Your paper seems to have quite the reputation of reporting on the paranormal. It seems to have made the circles with everybody, meaning that Chloe's 9 years of working on the torch has reached other circles besides just Smallville. So I was even underselling the torch and that it was just the town's biggest paper. But now to come and find out, other cities, other towns, other states, they know about the torch because the torch is where you get the real news.
Please let this scene play.
All right,
I hate you so much.
I'm just saying what Perry said. That is what Perry said. I did not say that.
Lana comes up, runs into them, is like, "Hey, Pete waited all night for you. You okay?" Wait.
Yeah. Okay.
It's weird because like the whole accident happened. So was there like a whole day that passed by where?
No, what they just actually insinuated was that it was not morning that we thought at the beginning, and in fact it was afternoon, and it was Clark having to go over to Pete's in order to study. Lana.
That would make sense because he wouldn't have all those books out, and the news wouldn't be on until what, 5?
Exactly.
6 o'clock?
Probably 6. I'm going to give you 6.
6 o'clock news?
So again, we're trying to play this off as if we're watching the episode for the first time as well. We thought it was morning. Turns out it was evening.
Afternoon, the late afternoon.
And for some reason, Clark can't pick up a phone to call Pete. I also don't know why Pete would be worrying when he could just call the Kents because they've done this all before.
Yeah.
So...
we just need cell phones at this point.
No, we just need to call each other at this point.
And so Perry meets Lana, and so
He says,
because Lana's only talking to Clark, right? And obviously Perry knows that. Oh, okay, so you're like the waitress or whatever it is. And it's like, well, can I get you guys? And it's like, yeah, help me out here. Give me like a triple cappuccino, lady, and then an interview. Slaps that Time magazine that we've seen with the cover of Lana broken down in tears at the front. It's like, I want an interview with one who is front and center here for during this accident. This Smallville star. It's like, bro.
He wants to interview a 16-year-old girl about the day that her parents died. And that's what he felt like was appropriate. And when Clark finds out what Perry's trying to do, he's immediately turning to him saying, what are you doing?
He's immediately awkward, very kind of upset. He's like, and he just looks at Perry. He's like, dude, what are you doing?
Perry's response is, it's called getting the story, idiot. No, Perry, that is not what this is called. This is called harassment.
No, I love when he says after, because Lana's like, nothing fancy, Miss Lang, just a simple Q&A. You know, how's little Miss Meteor coping 14 years after the Big Bang? And she's like, maybe this is a joke to you? But yeah, my parents died that day. But right here.
Oh, wait. 14 years ago.
I'm so glad you stopped.
Okay, I was going to say. Like,
because I'm confused.
I'm lost. Oh, wait.
14 years ago. So, 14, I mean, was she 5?
I thought she was 5. I thought we discussed. So 14 years ago would have then put her at, she's 19?
Yeah.
Did he reveal her real age accidentally in this part? Because it doesn't make sense that he says 14 years ago is when your parents died.
Unless we're thinking she was younger when they died. Like, maybe... because I know...
2?
Because isn't Clark a little bit older?
No, they're the same grade. They have the same class.
Well, you could have the same grade, but be a little older.
Okay, they're saying that it's 3 years. So...
because I think the youngest she could have been was 3 or 4.
I got you here, Joseph. Is Lana smart? Or is Clark dumb? Which one is it? Is Clark being held back? Or is Lana skipping?
What if not held back by education, but more so by the Kents because they were scared to put him in school?
Maybe. So Clark is really like 19 years old. He's like Michael Kelso where he can buy beer already and he's not telling anybody.
Wait a minute. You're 18?
Yeah, that's why I've always seemed older than more mature than all of you.
That means you could have been buying us beer for like a whole year now. But yeah, so this part right here is like, I don't know if this is a joke to you, but my parents died that day. And I'm sorry, but that makes you newsworthy. Dude,
Lana is
how's
looking
little Miss Meteor coping?
That
What
was
a
awesome
dick.
line, by the way. But Lana is immediately looking at Clark like, what the hell?
You sandbagging son of a
what were you
bitch.
doing? Why would you bring him here? And then Clark is immediately realizing, okay, that's it. We need to go now. Listen, she either talks to me now, Clark, or she faces the cameras tomorrow morning.
What the hell?
What? What do you mean she faces the camera?
You got a warrant?
I'm going to call the cops because I'm 16
Yeah, it's true, actually.
and you're harassing me.
Well, oh yeah, she's 16. She's under a guardian.
Yeah. Yeah, this would not be appropriate. Because if you're a reporter too, I think you would have to ask the parents.
And Lex still is a partner of this place, so...
Yeah. So, I'm not going to lie to you. Big red flags. I wish Clark would have handled this better. Instead, Lana is now going to blame Clark. And Clark is like, listen, Lana, I didn't know. Okay, both of you need to get the hell out of this place right now.
Yeah, and of course Clark is like, dude, you didn't tell me she was part of your agenda. It's like, hey, look, I'm sorry, but I know she's Little Miss Girlfriend, but she's a good source.
Listen, I still have to find faces in order to put the cameras on. So, Clark, you're going to have to kind of back off here and just let me do my thing. Why is Clark still talking to this man? Why is Clark and John believing that this man can do anything to them? Obviously, he seems like a nutbag douchebag who should not be spoken to, and all I have to do is call the cops.
My name is Betty White.
No, he's French. He's fucking French.
And so, of course, he's looking at the torch. Dude, this is so funny, dude.
So great.
So Perry's reading the Torch newspaper, and he's like, I did 3 minutes of research before I came into this town, and it's like, wow, found so much information. You can find a lot. But
where can you find a lot at, though?
Of course, the Torch.
The Torch, because 9 years.
And he's like, so do you think the editor-in-chief of this would know something? It's like, and what does Clark say?
I don't know. I would have no idea. I don't know that person.
I would have no idea. It's like, oh, okay. Principal authorizes new gym mats by Clark Kent. God. Dude, Clark...
Barry, hold on.
Let me just say this. Chloe missed Clark at the Torch.
I love Perry's face, though. I know. I was shocked, too. It's very riveting stuff. He's like, this is ridiculous. So the debate team and the replacing the old mats with new mats.
And lunch menus.
Was all what Clark's job was.
No. His job is to do nothing still. I'm sorry, but how much further can you get on the principal authorized new gym mats? That's the title, right? The headline?
Yeah.
And then paragraph is, Principal Reynolds ordered new gym mats on October 20th. They arrived at school on the 27th. Good job, team.
Like, how? Because the other thing is, how long is that article? And then they stapled those mats in. And then they had to throw the others in the dumpster. But the dumpster was full.
It like weirdly becomes this American Psycho business card comparison. Let's see Pete Ross's gym mat. Oh my God. The soft blue sky.
Clark and Perry then give each other a look. And now, for the next scene, we are at the Torch. And they are just staring, Clark and Perry, at the wall of weird.
Dude, is this the weekend?
I thought it was the weekend, but no, it was Sunday. It was Sunday, and then now today is Monday. Because as you see, when Chloe walks into this scene and says, "The hell are you doing in my office, Clark?" Kids are walking around in the background.
So are you thinking today's Sunday?
I'm thinking today's Monday.
I think this would be Sunday, if anything.
So there's that many kids at school on Sunday? Because there's kids walking around the background with her there.
Oh, you're right.
That's the only reason why I'm saying that. It's just there's so many students there.
But Clark's his nonchalant mannerism just throws me off. He's acting like he's on chore business, just taking Perry, going to school as if he doesn't need to be at school.
Oh yeah, no, with his hands in his pocket. You're exactly right.
He's like, I think we should go.
He's like, no, it's Monday, so I don't have class.
No, I don't have to go anywhere. You need to go to class.
But what Chloe does see is that Perry is now very interested in the Wall of Weird, and he goes, you know what? We've actually used a couple of these stories for our show. Now, I just want to make sure you didn't make all this stuff up, or do you pull your own writers? Chloe is then offended and says, do you not know who the fuck I am?
It's like, excuse me?
My name is...
I'm authentic, bitch.
I'm Chloe Sullivan. I've been writing the Torch for 9 years now. Who do you think you are?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Chloe kind of been looking banging this episode.
Thank you for saying that, because I put.
Because when she walked in, she looking like a little dick, bro, like a good dick.
Yeah.
And like she was showing some belly, got some midriff going.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, are you my editor-in-chief?
At Smallville High, she doesn't wear a full shirt, and it's been I think 2 episodes in a row now where she's not wearing a full shirt. I'm not gonna lie, Chloe in season 3.
Well, dude, we're dealing with solar flares, bro. It's probably hot.
Chloe in season 3 has been amazing.
Okay.
She has been just flawless for me. Everyone seems to have problems, but who doesn't have any problems? Chloe.
Okay, chill.
I'm not gonna chill.
Yeah, dude, no. So, hey, just look me up if you ever want to do. Got a penchant for the bizarre. So of course, Chloe's like,
yes.
You're with X Styles? Oh, well, I have a penchant for the truth, okay? So I'm not going to be doing no fantasy Mythbuster type shit. But she looks back at the business card and sees that, wait, you're the Perry White?
And Perry is actually a little bit bothered now. Perry was not expecting for anybody to know who he was, and all of a sudden the sleaze bagginess of his face goes away.
It's weird because it's like a sense of shame almost.
Yes. And yet she has the sense of, this is exciting, not you're a piece of crap like I thought you were 10 seconds ago. Perry is now saying, Clark, you know what? I need to go. I'll see you at the motel.
Dude, what kind of contract is this? Bro, I would have ditched this guy long ago. And then Chloe's just like, Clark, do you have any idea who that was? And he's like, I'm high as shit right now.
He's like, Chloe, I'm not going to look up anybody whenever I show them around town. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
They don't research anybody if you're at the Kim
Hey, he
household.
said he was going to sue me because I made him swerve to the pole.
When he was drunk.
Yeah.
Already.
He was probably like a 1.5, like blood alcohol level.
So I guess it's just still my fault. I'm just so confused on why Clark, after Perry going to Lana, then going to Chloe, pissing off essentially all of the women that Clark is always around and gonna give Clark now a big ass headache, he's still doing it. What was the contract? How long am I supposed to be doing this?
He said a couple days.
What? What do you mean?
Perry, I have school.
Yeah, like that's the other thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like couple days. There's obviously students.
Do you have a note?
Dude, it truly it baffles me because it feels like the weekend, and then it just goes to the point. This is AHS. This is alternative high school.
This is alternative high school. You're not allowed to be able to miss this.
Like
much
everyone
school.
sucks at their education so bad they all have Saturday school.
I think that the school is open.
Well, remember Sunday school was a thing.
I think it's Monday through Sunday the school is open, and whenever you can come and learn, just decide to, because they think all these kids are troublemakers and out on the street anyways, so they just leave the school open, so whenever they choose to learn, they can.
Good Lord. This place is burning down. It needs to burn down, dude.
Yeah, this is not a healthy environment whatsoever.
And now we're back to Lex.
Yeah, let's talk about a
in the
healthy
mansion.
environment.
Yeah. Now he's soothing himself to sounds of ocean waves. And then we have someone creeping in, about to touch him.
No. Why? Okay. So Lex is meditating with the ocean sounds. Lana decides to tiptoe in his office, not knock, not say a word, not even breathe.
And I know that door was closed.
It always is closed. So what did
Especially if you're listening to ocean sounds, you're not going to have doors open.
she cracked it open barely so that she could fit?
Oh, we must be playing a game.
I'm gonna scare him.
Lex's eyes are closed. But of course, Lex freaks out, immediately grabs her hand a little aggressively, and she's like, "Oh, Lex, I'm so sorry. I'm interrupting." And he's like, "Nah, it's cool, man." It's weird that he's listening to ocean waves because he says after the island, it seems like that's the whole thing that comforts me now, even though I hated the roar of the ocean when I was there. So
Yeah, I don't understand that.
they're just basically talking about, oh, you must think about that every day. And Lex is already deflecting. Yeah, well, you're not here for that, Lana, so why are you here?
Why did you want to come and scare me, please? And this is where Lana then explains that she had a tabloid reporter coming in to the Talon where he was wanting to then question her over her parents' passing. She is very uncomfortable with this. She says that he is going to be back tomorrow with a camera crew, and I just really don't want this. She seems very distraught. Lex then turns to her and says, you know what? You want me to take care of this? Lana then goes on her rant saying, I've tried to put that past behind me for the past 14 years. Somehow we're still on this 14 years. And she goes, I know it's a lot to ask, but I just think that I need this person to get the hell away from me. But I was hoping that you would be able to do something about it. Lex then looks at Lana, gives a little smirk, and says, you know what? I'm surprised that Clark is not the one that's helping you out with this. So am I.
Well, Clark's with him.
What? Lex is completely shocked, mouth open. So wait, Clark is with him.
You want me to run him out of town? The reporter?
I want him to stop Lex. Lex, you know what? He must have been very persistent. What's his name?
Perry White.
I will make sure that he never bothers you again. Obviously, Lex has some history.
We got some
with
history with Perry.
Which it seems that Lex has a history with a lot of reporters, a lot of private investigators. He has a lot of problems with people.
How is Clark walking into this bar, bro? We go to the next scene. He has caused several things to happen in this bar. Wild Coyote. And Clark walks in here so easily. We're not checking. It's clearly a bar. It's only a bar.
It's only a bar.
No, a child should not be let in. And it's like, there's still questions. Are we in the middle of a school day? What are we doing? But anyways, because Clark came back from the torch after they did investigating. He's obviously finding Perry. Hey, Perry, we realize you're one of the best in Metropolis. You're the Perry White. What happened? What are you doing here? So, basically, things happen. Some things went not too smooth. What's it to you anyway?
Little grasshopper, sometimes you just have to lube it up. What? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Why? We have 5 cents a dance, and now we have some lubrication joke going on. This is inappropriate.
Perry's
Clark should not be here.
He's such a dirty boy.
But Perry does ask Clark, you know what? What is it to you anyway, kid? Why are you wanting to investigate me? Okay. Is this like a reporter thing? Because even though Chloe's been great this season, I just want to go back to season 2. I hate season 2, Chloe. But she did the same crap. I can search you, you can't search me. That's not how the game works. And Perry then tries to make that same claim. Why are you trying to uncover my secrets, Clark? Because you've been bugging me, you son of a bitch. What am I missing?
Yeah, why can't I ask questions?
Yeah, and then Clark, though, decides to say maybe it's the journalist in me that wants to know.
Or that I realize if you have a gift, you shouldn't turn your back on it. Clark, you are one to talk, buddy. Kal-El, it is time to fulfill your destiny. No, I'm never going to do that. I have a gift, and I'm going to destroy it. Clark would give up his powers if he could.
I don't know if he would, actually, because then his life... But that basketball scene in season 1 when he got the boo-boo.
He was having too much fun.
Okay. We'll put that on the back burner. But Perry does say to Clark, there's only 2 regrets in your life as a reporter, Clark. 1 is that you'll never find the story. 2 is that you have the story, but you're too afraid to report it.
Damn, so we're kind of getting more insight into Perry and the background. So obviously, it seemed to be a thing where maybe he was scared to write a very big story that he had at one point, which we do get more details on, but we're starting to realize something happened. And so Clark is now trying to push Perry out, get him sober, obviously, get out of the bar.
And Perry even says to Clark, to kind of put him a little bit more human here for our audience, Perry does even tell Clark, I'm surprised that you're even trying to ask me questions or that you're even still around. I've been harassing all of the ladies in your life. I've been giving you a hard time, threatening your family. Why are you still so concerned about trying to help me?
Yeah, Clark.
And before we can get even more of that, instead, it's somebody else walking through the doors. A big bright light is shining off his bald head, and it's Lex Luthor.
Oh, what does he say, though, when he walks in?
I don't know. Sometimes you just need this person to go away.
I just forgot because he mentions Clark's name, and so Perry immediately sees Lex, and he looks at Clark, and he's like, "Whoa, I really underestimated you, man." He's like Clark's faith in the good because it kind of outweighs his common sense.
He just called Clark high.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, Clark just thinks too highly of people. Sometimes. But yeah, Perry's just completely shocked because he's like, wait, what the fuck? You know Lex Luthor? God damn it, my life's over. He literally looks that way.
No, he does, because he says, I even underestimated you, kid. And that's where now Lex is then going up to Perry, and they have
Lex is pissed.
Because
this is something that's been burning inside for a little bit.
Yeah, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Perry has had a very common trick with his reporting. It's called interviewing children. And that's what Lex is also upset with, because Perry tried to get Lex as he was a child to then bury his own father and to confirm the dirt that Perry had on Lionel with Lex, who was a child at the time.
Yeah. And of course, Clark is like, whoa, what's happening here? Lex, don't you think you're overreacting? Oh, after what he did with Lana, I thought you'd admire my restraint.
I'm with Lex. Clark, I get that you want to be the hero every time. I get it, my man. But this man really did just throw a Time magazine on your girlfriend's counter and said, let's talk about your dead parents. That's what somebody random did.
And it wasn't even a matter that he didn't know about the dead parents. Like, he did know, and he's like, yeah, so it makes a good story. So tell me.
It's so bad. And Clark deserves some shots here, except whenever Perry and Lex then leave, Perry says, I guess I'll see you around, kid. All of a sudden, Clark is confused. But now we are going to cut to the next scene of Lex and Perry driving down the road in the Jaguar. Lex pulls over to the side of the road. Somehow there's a bus stop in the middle of nowhere in Smallville, and that is where Perry is dropped off at.
That's right. And he's, of course, get out of Dodge thing is getting pretty heavy-handed for Luther, man. So I can't believe you really went after a child for a soundbite. Of course, using people always came easy to you, huh?
You know, our one and only encounter was like a year ago, dude. We're cool, right?
So we get a little background here is that Lex talks about, he's like, even in school, I was pretty good at sniffing out reporters, but you really played that friendly persona very well. And then finally I realized it, but it was too late before I told you to go to hell.
As I recall, it took me 10 minutes before I told you to go to hell.
And it was like, I was just doing my job and you're a legitimate resource.
Look!
I was 16 and you literally needed dirt on my father.
And look at his face whenever he says it to him. Perry's like, yeah, I did.
Oh, your father's secret. So you want to talk about him now?
Like, what?
Hey, I got a couple minutes before the bus.
You're not 16 anymore.
That's true.
Wait, are you defending this?
Yeah, you'd be like, so how about it? You're not 16 anymore.
No, he isn't.
You really hate your dad now, right?
But he doesn't, because remember, he wants to be business partners with him.
Oh, Papa.
Oh, Papa. But Lex even does mention to Perry, if you really had anything on my father, then you would have already written that story by now. And that's not very true, considering that Lionel has threatened so many people with their lives. I feel like that Lex should realize that,
and even Perry's kind of even hinting there. It's like, oh, okay, if you really believe that I didn't, like, if I don't have the story, then you're crazy. Like, there's obviously other factors into play as to why I didn't maybe report it.
Lex is so petty. I love it. He then grabs the luggage of Perry White in the back of his car.
Throws it on the
throws
dirt,
it on the
bro.
ground away from him and says, go pick it up.
Yeah, and then he just skirts off. And of course, now immediately Perry just goes near his bag, stays on the road, but pulls out the flask.
Decides to get a flask.
This man is drinking like crazy.
Well, so much for not drinking before 5. Perry, we just picked you up at a bar.
Clark skipped school today.
Yeah. I can't say anything again. I don't know what his day was, but John allowed it.
I know he's a junior, so he don't have skip days.
Either way, cut into the scene at the Kent farm. John is working on the tractor and says, Clark, thank God you're here. Finally, I don't have to do something once again. And now he is wanting Clark to be able to lift the tractor in order to be able to see what is going on. But before that, he is asking Clark, so how was it with your friend Perry White?
He left.
Nope.
I guess it wasn't as friendly as he thought it was.
No questions on anything from John. No questions on the aftermath of, hey, can you tell me more? Clark then smiles about it as if it's all okay, and that's that. The Kent boys are bothering me.
Well, I think, honestly, if anything, John just probably maybe didn't feel too threatened by it at this point.
He should know better by this point, is really my thing to you. We have seen people coming into our lives prior who have then abused us prior.
No.
Who have then used your abilities to then hold it against us.
Yeah.
This has all happened before. We should be a little bit more cautious than, oh, well, I guess it's no biggie. The Kent boys are both dabbling in the marijuana this episode.
Well, now we get to really good part here. He asked Clark for help on the tractor that he's been working on because he needs to lift it up a bit. But Clark can't lift it up. So this now is going back to the whole. We're getting back to the whole solar flare thing now.
Clark can't lift it. John then says, "Stop playing around."
Yeah, he's like, "Hey Clark, yeah, you gonna lift it yet?" And he's like, "What the hell?" And like he's really grunting, and yeah, John's like, "What's the matter?" He's like, "I don't know. It's like I lost all my strength." And he's like, "Damn it, I'm never gonna get this chore done.
I need a distractor fixed."
And he looks at Clark's like, "Why don't you just give it one more try, son?" And Clark actually puts in a lot of effort here, but that is really bad because then he lifts up the tractor and it goes flying, bro. It is literally going across like football fields of length. And dude, they're just both looking at it fly away. And Clark's just like,
John
oh,
is then
shit.
looking at Clark and saying, "First the truck, and now the tractor. What else do you want to blow up, Clark? My bike's in the barn. Just go destroy that."
Why didn't we immediately run to go catch the tractor?
Because we need to stand there and look guilty and be like, "Oh no, didn't mean that, Dad."
Yeah, and now we get to another stupid part of this. When the tractor lands, it lands conveniently right in front of Perry. Right in front of Perry as he was drinking the flask. And he's just so flabbergasted. He pours out the flask, like tipping it over. And of course, who comes speed running seconds late right in front of Perry? You telling me he didn't see him? He didn't see him?
Just everything you are saying, I put in my notes, my man. This is ridiculous.
He speeds down the road and Perry would be right on his right side before the tractor.
He would have been able to notice another person whenever he looks, because what we have seen Clark in the past, whenever he uses his speed, he looks with individuals. Otherwise, if he's not paying attention, he's A-train and he's going to blow them up.
Yeah.
If he truly did not see Perry, that means he doesn't see people ever when they are walking. So is he A-train?
Dude, I think Superman's faster than A-Train.
He's supposed to be smarter, I thought. But in this episode, things are just not as they appear, because why wouldn't he, if he had his super speed, run to catch the tractor, to your point, before it crashed down? Why did he choose until after it crashed to then go over and say, "Damn it, oh no, you're standing right there"?
Oh no. Man, I love the story they make up here.
Oh no.
Because now we get to them, the tow truck's coming, they're going to pick up the tractor. Sheriff Adams is here, sees it, picks up the license plate, just examining the scene. Is like, "Mr. Kent, you want to tell me how your tractor wound up scattered over 2 lanes of county backdrop?"
Yeah, so like somebody was on the farm and then they put the tractor in the back of a truck.
Yeah, because it can fit on the back of a truck.
And then it fell out of the back of the truck and then it blew up.
Yeah, that's how you can tell it's all in pieces, because it fell really hard off the truck.
Let's also get this out of the way. Somebody called the cops and it wasn't Perry. So.
Dude. And of course, Clark's like, "Yeah, tried to follow him. By the time I got here, it must have fell out the truck." Perry's like, "Dude, it fell out of the sky."
And Sheriff Adams, I'm kind of disappointed in her, because she looks at Perry like he's the idiot, when in fact she should be looking at the Kens.
No, she thinks they're all morons. There is no hiding that. And she's like, "And last night you were begging to keep flying monkeys out of your room, Perry." He's like, and of course he looks at Clark. He's like, "You're saying you had nothing to do with this, Clark?" And Clark's like,
"To be honest, Sheriff, I'm just not quite sure what happened." Guys, why is this the best plan y'all had? Why couldn't we come up with a better story?
I'm starting to think that the town knows the Kents have a hemp farm.
They
have to be just high on their own supply, bro.
I'm so disappointed, because like I mentioned, if somebody had to call the cops, and odds are it was the Kents, they then should have decided to come up with the story prior to calling those cops. But they didn't. What seems to have happened is that Clark then ran after the tractor. John then called the cops.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the idea was from these Kent boys, but I don't think that they're on the right track to making the right calls this episode.
And yeah, And so the whole in between time with the cops coming, what is Clark telling? What is Clark saying to Perry?
What is happening on that downtime between them?
Yeah, and of course, Sheriff is not really buying the story. It doesn't look like she is. And of course, Sheriff is like, Perry,
you did this. Nuh-uh. Yes, you did. Nuh-uh. That's all they're doing the entire time.
What? Nothing.
Just looking at you said no.
What? I've been here. It's like Ron or Hermione. She wasn't in here when we walked in. How is she here?
I actually want to see that back and forth between them. I want that as a scene.
But no, wasn't me. No, I'm not even here.
You're looking at something, not me.
And so here we go. We have Sheriff Adams. Hey, I'm gonna need you to get on the next bus out of here in an hour, and don't call me Chief, Mr. White.
Now, I will get to this part because obviously as we're still on this scene, Clark and John then walk away as Perry is still waiting for the bus. John is then saying, we need to be able to get these powers under control. Clark is then explaining, I don't know what's going on with me. I think that it has something to do with the solar flare. Well, John is now concerned because it's in the middle of Perry White's radar.
Yep. And so Perry's just like, am I seeing things? Like, I don't know. He just looks like he's,
Screw getting on the bus. I'm going to go back to the high school and walk in and no one's going to say a damn thing. This is a high school. Why is Perry allowed to just walk into a school?
What time is it?
It says on the background that it's 4:10.
School should be done by now.
There's kids still in the background. School is probably done, though. There's still kids that hang out at 4 o'clock at school.
It's true. Maybe he's showing up at the end of the day. And so he's coming to visit Chloe at the Torch. And Chloe's just like...
She's fangirling.
Yeah, she is fangirling. Yeah, like, hey, how are you? You were the Perry White. How are you where you are now?
And this is where, once again, Perry is giving Chloe his worst fear.
You know the worst thing about having the story of a lifetime? What? Having that and never being able to post it.
And Chloe doesn't say it as like, oh, I'm sorry. She's now laughing like, okay, you're joking. You're the Perry White. You're the
Perry
bull.
The Pit Bull White, dude.
You're the guy that actually told every story. So she is shocked, meaning
Perry, like what scared you, know?
Exactly. Perry was never that guy to ever be afraid of something. What could it have been?
And of course, he name drops here. He's like, well, Lionel Luthor can be remarkably persuasive.
All of a sudden, Chloe's face.
Oh, yeah.
She's
relatable.
Terrified. Yeah, terrified. But yeah, no, it really does show that Lionel, if somebody is even close to finding something about anything to do with the Luthors, they're bribed, they're threatened. It seems to be just a common thing with the reporters. And it's a horrible relationship. They should really talk to each other more and be like, hey, guys, if you ever see Lionel, walk away. Don't ever talk to him.
It ain't worth it, dog.
Like they should all talk to each other.
We don't like the LLs around here. Are you saying that Lionel had something to do with your career slide? Let's just say that's not everyone's whatever
cup of tea. It's not everybody's. My style of reporting is not for everybody, especially when you're rich and full of
vengeance or you're vengeful.
Yes, but you're also full of hate too.
Yeah.
Not ever good.
And so Chloe's just like, wow. She's like kind of even thinking about her situation, and so Perry even's like, hey, isn't that the Kemp farm? Because we see the burn marks that Clark had laser beamed into his barn during. What was it, Rosetta?
And Chloe even says, oh, the cops just chalked that up as some frat guys then playing a joke. Just some like crop circle stuff. And Perry then gives her a look of, you're full of it.
Yeah, just professional curiosity. I like your friend Clark. He interests me. And of course,
Chloe doesn't like
this
that.
Just doesn't, not even that. It just like, it doesn't help with everyone else because they're always like, Clark's so mysterious. He keeps so many secrets. And then you have all these people who just meet him. It's like, yeah, your friend's really interesting. Okay. You don't think something's actually up with this guy now?
I still like, though, Chloe's response to it more than anything because Chloe is still supposed to be reporting on Clark. Chloe is still supposed to be finding out things about him in order to report to Lionel. But Chloe is still uncomfortable with it. And you can tell with even Perry, she's trying to lie. She's trying to play it off like Clark is not interesting. He's just a farm boy. Like, who the hell cares? It may be still validating that there's something special about him, but Chloe is still wanting to be the only one that knows that. It's not something that she wants everyone to find out. She wants that to be kind of theirs. And maybe that's why she always kind of envisioned their relationship.
No, I mean we've all seen this. She's so territorial with him.
Yes.
So it's like invading her privacy in a sense.
Exactly.
And so now
Let's
we have
go to the Kemp boys.
Yeah, Kemp boys, and now we have investigative journalism here. So basically, they're researching this whole solar flare thing, and now Clark's kind of putting 2 and 2 together with his dad. Oh, my powers didn't start acting up until this solar flare happened. And so Pete walks in during the middle of this conversation. Of course, he's like, hey, did you find something? It's like, yep. Yesterday's cosmic fender bender produced the largest solar flare ever recorded. It's communication glitches, power surges, and Clark's like, yo, that's exactly what's happening to me. 1 second I'm helpless, the next I'm in overdrive.
Yeah, I mean, it's Pete having to figure it out because nobody else is able to. Pete is the smartest one, and without him, the Kemp boys would be even further lost.
Are you kidding me, Taylor? All he found out was actual scientific facts on Earth about a solar flare.
Hold on. We're on episode 5, correct?
Yes.
Pete also found that news article to say that Clark was the one destroying Metropolis, so he is 2 out of 5 of the one solving the mystery.
So,
but yeah, Pete, 2 out of 5.
Or whatever, I'll give you that one. That's fine. So now we're getting to the point where John's like, you know what? We've always wondered where the source of your powers really come from. Because they assume it's just his DNA. That's it. Whatever. But now they're putting 2 together. It's like, oh, it's the yellow sun. That's what's actually giving you your speed, your strength, like all that good stuff. And so now this is actually our first official reveal episode where they're finally putting it together. The yellow sun gives our Kryptonian his powers.
Yes, speed, strength, everything is coming. He is powered up. Pete even makes the joke. He's like the Energizer battery. He's just being recharged whenever that sun is able to hit him. So with this solar flare, the way it's acting, the way I'm thinking of the solar flare is that it's like a heartbeat. So it's like boom, but there's that brief moment in time where there's no beat, and that's when Clark loses his abilities. The sun constantly needs to be going, and because it's now having that pause, that's then making his own powers pause themselves. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at that solar flare causing these issues for him.
And it's cool because, I mean, we've all seen this in comics, shows, even now, like current ones, like the most recent Superman and Lois, where he actually overcharges himself with the sun.
Well, and that was,
because he'll actually like go closer to the sun or like do something to where he's just soaking it up. He'll go into space, just let it hit him super hard. Did it in the Zack Snyder Justice League movie, Batman vs. Superman, with the nuke. Just goes up in the space, hits that sun one time.
And see, what I love, too, is that they even later on gave him that ability of being able to release all that energy at once. So, yes, in a way, with their description of him being able to charge himself, he is a battery, and he can blow up and explode at any point. I wonder if, and maybe we need to investigate it more, but we should go into, like, the different suns and, like, at all the planets that may have a sun, and if each sun then affects Clark differently like it will with Kryptonite. Because obviously I know that Krypton's sun affected them differently than Earth's sun. So I'm wondering if you go to other suns, what they would then do to him as well.
Well,
just something I would like.
Well, no, you already know what it is, which I'm sure is because it depends on the age of the sun.
I just want to see what they would all do to him. Like if he goes to each one and then he has like a different ability for each one. That's what I want to see. It's like you just keep collecting things.
Like a different, okay.
Yeah, okay. It's like a different power each time. I wonder what I get when I go over here. I wonder what I get when I get there.
Right. That'd be kind of cool.
Yes.
What if there were like different powers too?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like each planet that I go to, whatever sun is there, that's then a different ability that I receive or that I'm able to do.
And so, who is it? Chloe just walked in. And of course, we have here the reveal to Clark, like, hey, Perry is not leaving town. He's very interested in you. And that's it. Now, we have Lex back at the mansion, and he is storming him back to his office, talking to Claire Foster, pissed. Yo, are you kidding me? Just heard the news. We have to have more sessions because you couldn't give a proper evaluation. You're rejecting our sessions?
Lex, you didn't give me anything. And instead you just wanted to talk about your collectibles and your artifacts and give me history lessons. We didn't actually able to talk about any of your trauma that you are going through. What do you mean?
Yeah, he's just like, you're just trying to have face-to-face time with the celebrity client, huh? It's like, I didn't enjoy writing the thing.
I work for your father.
You gave me nothing.
Did you just call yourself a celebrity?
And I know you need help, Lex, but yet you won't open up. You won't give me a proper evaluation, and everything that's happened to you since you came to Smallville, it's a lot. So, release, dude, release.
Hey, remember all the women that have betrayed you? Remember you almost dying? Remember you being on the island? Do I have to keep going with these things, Lex, to then remind you how much trauma you have? Listen, Lex, I don't think you understand what you actually went through. You know what, Doctor? I'm tired of this. You just need to get out. You just want all this because I have expensive cars and I'm just so handsome and everyone loves me. This is what Lex is talking like. Lex is talking like he is Brad Pitt in this scene, saying that this doctor only wants to hang around a star. I am so bothered by the beginning with Lex and him just thinking that he could get away with blowing off these sessions, and then him throwing a temper tantrum like a child because he didn't get away with blowing off these sessions. What the hell?
It's really some baby shit right here.
It is. This is something I've been very disappointed.
It's almost like the spoiled Luther brat type of thing comes out in this.
This is brattiness, and I don't understand because he even yelled, "Get out!" I don't understand why you thought you were going to get away with this. And also, do you think this is really the doctor, or do you think that this is more your father? Like, your father is the one that's paying her in order for you to be able to sit at Luthor Corp as his partner. That was the whole point of this. So, this is all her having to report to the company, aka your father. So why do you keep yelling at her like she should just give you a passing grade? 'Cause you're Lex. Haha. I'm disappointed in him. I thought he was better than this. I thought that he was supposed to be the man. This is bratty. This is Clark-like.
Get a little bit.
And this is Chloe season 2-like.
Yeah. And now we go back to the farm. Morning, Clark. God, Perry's just sitting on the farm. Just unannounced again.
Calling the cops.
He's like, hey, what's up? Nevertheless, I found my story, man, you know? He's like, well, yeah, for some insane reason, it's me, huh? It's like, well, it's not a joke, Clark. I got the facts to back it up, man. I've seen a lot of things you can do. The accident, the power lines, your magical appearance as your family's tractor drops out of the sky.
It's like, I explained that. It fell off a truck. That's not an explanation. That's a punchline, moron.
Yeah, and of course, he's like, I spent the morning combing through police records and newspaper stories. You're Johnny on the spot, man. More like Clarky on the spot. You're Smallville's own #1 hero. And of course, he's like, trust me, dude, there's nothing special about me. I just like to save lives.
Clarky on the spot.
Clarky on the spot.
By the way, that's a show.
Yeah, Smallville, Clarky on the spot.
Him solving the cases before Sheriff Adams
That'll
arrived.
be their animated series they're coming out with. Clarky on the spot.
I want to do that. That would be amazing.
And of course, Clark's like, oh, my mom's calling me, gotta go. Because legit, his mom started calling him, and he had to run off. So he's like, you can run, but you can't. Oh, wait. Clark just starts to jog, and then he just super speeds away like he couldn't control it.
He couldn't control it, and this time around, we have to give Perry White the benefit of the doubt. He is sober.
No. He said he was drunk.
Oh, my God. I thought
literally, when he walked up, because after Clark was talking to him for just a couple sentences, he's like, you're drunk. And then Perry's like, yeah, maybe, but I know I'm not crazy.
I thought he was sober because he said morning. Again, the other times we connected, it was later on the day, right? So we were giving him the benefit. So we thought he wasn't drinking in the morning.
He's drinking in the morning, dude.
Okay, so that means Perry White is drunk from 7 a.m. to midnight every single day. Why would anybody believe him? And in fact, he would be known across every town as the crazy drunk.
Yeah.
So, get off my property. Why are you here? I'm not going to talk to you. If I see you again, I'll make sure that you are thrown in prison. I don't know why this is confusing. I'm 16. Do I have to tell them you're trying to make a move on me? Because this is weird.
Yeah.
Clark can get away with getting Perry away. So, instead of that, what is this from Clark? Is this Clark being the hero? Is this, once again, overdoing the Clark? I just want to be the good guy. Why can't he tell Perry, go away?
Because Perry likes to do everything illegal. If they tell him no, he's like, no means yes.
This is why I'm a little lost. Morgan Ed shows up. And Clark rips off the door. It's like, don't you ever come here again. Perry White comes up. Hi, Perry, stop coming here. You need to get out.
Well, I mean, I get the whole thing. Like, why wouldn't you just tell them to both get away?
Yes.
But Morgan Edge is a crime boss.
Yeah, I get
Perry White's not going to kill his parents.
But I'll put it this way. I think I would be nicer to the crime boss than I would Perry. I think I'd be more fearful for what he would do with my parents versus...
Now, with a crime boss, he can't be nice, dude. That's showing weakness.
The town drunk that I know nobody would believe, I would be meaner too.
Well, he's come a long way from Metropolis, dude.
Whatever. You know what?
Metropolis changed him.
Did you notice that somehow the red truck is fixed?
Oh, yeah. We fixed it right away.
There's no way it was worth it to fix that truck instead of buying a new truck. There's no way it would have been worth it. It would have cost the same. That's a classic too.
So let's get.
There's just no way.
No. I'm talking about this scene right here, buddy.
What, with John standing in front?
No. So we see that the truck's fixed. It's at the bus stop that we were at earlier. And it's nighttime. Bus is coming in, and John's immediately like, Clark, you all right, son? Clark's like, it's been a weird day. It's like my light speed gave out around Lake Tahoe, and then that's got to be 1,000 miles, son. I know. 1 second I'm racing across the country, and then the next I can barely jog. Barely had enough money for this bus ride. So
that sucks.
This convo, though, just shows that means they didn't talk beforehand.
Yep.
How would John know he's coming on the bus to that bus stop?
Well, hold on. Clark does use payphones. We've seen Clark. Hey.
Why are we just now having this conversation?
I don't know.
John wouldn't ask on the payphone, Clark, where are you? Lake Tahoe.
Okay, hold on. What if John just did this with every bus? He just waited at the bus stop for like every bus to show up that day.
And 1,000 miles? Isn't that like 24 hours type thing?
Yeah. John probably did that though in order to avoid his chores.
So is this late at night? Like, what is going on?
Nothing needs to make sense this episode besides what if the audience is supposed to be like Perry White and we're supposed to be drunk while watching it. And that is why they're making this with the timeline of it not making sense.
Yeah, I feel drunk watching it.
Exactly. This is episode Perry. That is why it is called this.
Okay. But, so yeah. It's so weird. But so yeah, the solar flare is still doing all this. And it's like...
Clark's just wanting to say, you know what, Dad? Don't worry. I'm just going to be locking myself in the house all day. As long as it's supposed to pass tomorrow, we're going to be good. I'm afraid it's not that easy, son. Perry White saw you disappear. Now, your mother managed to be able to get him off the farm, but I don't think he's going to be able to give up because I'm not going to do shit. Because I'm Jonathan. I'm a pussy this episode.
That's right.
What is going on with him? I was impressed early. He showed me being a father is acting like a hard ass. All right, John, let's do it. What is this?
No.
No. No, I'm going back. I'm going to go back to season 1 and season 2. Jonathan, I don't want to hate on you. But this episode, dude.
Nah, dude, he's cool.
No.
They come up with good plans.
This is awful, Jonathan. This is the worst Jonathan I've seen.
So, we go back to the mansion. Perry walks into Lex's office. He's like, wow, when they said it was you at the gate, I couldn't believe it. He's like, yeah, but, me neither, but I thought we should talk.
There's nothing to talk about. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Now, I guess you'll never find out what I have on your father. And of course, it's like, if it's personal, I don't care. You're a liar.
Yeah.
If it's legit, then the statute of limitations must have passed long ago.
What does that even mean? Wait, I just have to
Lex.
go back to, if it's personal, I don't care. Yes, you do. Stop it.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, what if it was just like random, like, your dad killed your mom?
Like, yes.
You don't care?
You don't care about your personal family.
You don't care?
Cut the crap.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lucas wasn't your brother after all.
Yeah, exactly. That's personal. What's the difference?
Oh, I don't care. I don't care.
Like, yeah, exactly. God,
Helen never set you up.
What did Jonathan Lanks just decide to just become weak this episode? I'm so upset with them. Not really, John, because I just expect it. But Lex.
Yeah. Lex is weird. So, of course, we're getting a little reveal here that, of course, if the information is so damning, why did my father stop at simply destroying your career? You know? Why not do anything? Multiple copies plus multiple attorneys, all with the in the event of my death instructions. Basically getting at if I died because of this.
So why wouldn't he just report the story then? If he has all of that and he's the pit bull.
Well, it's like you said, dude. If anyone's a pussy here, it's Perry here.
So Perry,
John, pussyfootin' white.
All the guys this episode, what is going on? I need Chloe back. I need some Lana whooping ass. I need some Pete. I need those three in this. Because what I'm seeing from Clark, Lex, Perry, John, it's not good. It's not good, Joseph.
So, of course, this is the weird thing, man. This is what I'm talking about. It's like you have these people who are so close to Clark. They've met multiple people talking about your friend Clark's so interesting. Oh man, he's so intriguing. He can do extraordinary things. It's like, okay, weird. And of course, so Lex is like, all right, well, you give me the information. What do you want? I know you want something. All the information you have about Clark Kent. And he's like, Clark. And he's like, here we fucking go.
But I love this, though, because what we've seen, remember, is that with Perry going, all right, so there's no way that you would have been able to survive that crash, Lex. I've seen the video. Lex is like, yeah, I know, I'm special.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. He's like, this douche doesn't know I'm special.
It's really me.
Yeah.
I'm the one. Have you seen my white blood cell count?
They're so high. I've never gotten sick.
Have you?
Yeah, Clark wasn't there for that. Oh, wait. He was.
That would have been such a great...
No, you're so right. I mean, I immediately thought because he even tells him, like, 2 years ago, you drove your Porsche off a bridge. I went over the police photos, Lex. There's no way you would have walked away from that crash without the miracle that is Clark Kent. And he's like, dude, what is that? What is that? He's like...
doesn't know.
This cocksucker doesn't even know I'm so special. Wow. Perry, you've really lost it, man. He's like, this is a new low, even for you, man. He's like, you must have something, Lex. And of course, give it to me, and I'll deliver you a story that'll bring new meaning to the phrase, sins of the father. And Lex just flips.
Oh my
Immediately
God.
grabs him, pushes him against the wall, and is like, look, you're talking about my father, not me. He's like, oh, it looks like the jungle living took away something from you, huh? He's like, look, you stay away from me, my friends, and trust me, it won't just be blood that they'll find that's what's left of you. What are you saying?
So Perry is completely terrified.
Kinda.
And thrown off, where he fixes his coat and then walks out of the office. Lex is now shaking right now because he can't believe what he's done. And then he finally realizes, maybe I do need help.
It's like he just figured out for the first time that, like, when he's a kid, he can masturbate. And he's like looking at his hand. He's like, is this the power of a god? But no, he's freaking out because it kind of goes back into the whole thing where his therapist...
Masturbate.
Yeah, masturbating. That's truly the problem here. It's all about release, Lex. You gotta release.
I know what you did on that beach.
Well, I know what you didn't do on that beach. He was getting seamed up to the eyes, bro. Like, he was just, like, thinking dudes. That's why he thought of that dude.
That's exactly why.
But, so, yeah, no, it just goes to show, though, the therapy part, the psychiatry that they said, you need help. This is showing the pent-up anger, the pent-up problems that he's had kind of coming out, the rage.
And, I do find it strange that Lex was not more into... And that's why, even with the start of the season, and us being thrown off by Lex making that agreement with Lionel, shaking his hand, being like, hey, Daddy, I want to be your partner. Where the hell did that come from? But it's also now where somebody like Perry comes up to Lex. I have dirt on your dad. I don't care. Why is there all of a sudden this love for Lionel? Where did this come from with Lex all of a sudden just not wanting to think of his father as that piece of crap? Instead, no, I don't care anymore. My dad is going to be my boss and my partner, and we're going to live happily ever after. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
Who is this person?
He's cool.
He needs to speak to a therapist.
Remember what Lionel even said, dude? When they're at their most angriest or rage, they're the weakest.
They're at their weakest.
And Lex is pretty weak right now.
Let's go to Pete and Clark looking outside the window at the Kent house.
Yeah, we're at the Kent house. And, of course, they're looking outside, and they see a camera crew just on standby by the entrance.
They're on his property.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's not doing anything.
Actually, you know what? They're technically not.
Are you saying they're outside the fence?
They're outside the post that says the Kent Farm, that gate, that arch. They're right outside there. So, technically, they are not on the property.
Why doesn't Clark build a wall? Doesn't he build, just the highest, like back in the old days, like the
Barry White, hey, fool. X-Styles, yeah. I'm going to build that wall. Keep your pinche ass out, fool. I'm Clark Kent.
There's a lot of things going on this episode I wasn't expecting. All right, but yes. So Pete and Clark are now looking outside the window where they see the X-Styles vans outside, where they're just going to be waiting there pretty much until Clark does something special, I'm assuming. They're just waiting to be able to capture something on tape, where Pete is now looking at Clark saying, hey, at least for right now, your tractor tossing days will be over by tonight, right? And Clark is still not thinking that this is going to be okay. He is now throwing a hissy fit himself and says, I feel like a prisoner in my own house. It's for one night.
Kinda.
How long is Perry really going to wait out there?
If it's Perry, the pit bull white.
There's no way that X-Styles has that much funding in order to be able to set up their crew out there where nothing is happening except a kid working on a farm.
Dude, X-Styles is totally like Nightcrawler thing, man. It's just like freelance.
They're going to cut the brakes of John's truck?
Yeah. Oh my God. Here's a story, fellas. If Clark's driving, we cut the brakes and he flips, watch. He won't have a scratch on him.
But his father may die.
But here we get another solar flare burst, where Clark just all of a sudden can't concentrate. He's over here flaming up the windows and the curtains. And he's like, Pete, get down. I don't want to roast your black ass.
That's not what he says. But Clark then grabs the blanket and he starts rubbing it as if that's going to do something. John then grabs the fire extinguisher and says, get out of the way. He was
literally like rubbing it like
that's
it's like
he was
doing that.
He wasn't going to do anything.
And it's like, bro, you always pat it. Like you swing at it,
you
dude.
You blot that. But yes, Clark then finds out, however, when Jonathan pushes him out of the way, is that Clark's hands hurt.
They burn.
Yes. And John then looks at his hands and then says, Clark, stop it. Grow up. Your thing just is going to be over by today. All we have to do is wait. I think you're going to be okay in the end. And now Clark is once again freaking out. You know what, Jack? No, I can't be doing this. A burst of the solar flare then caused me to almost burn down our home. I don't know what could be next. Dad, I can't stay here. And Jonathan then looks at him and says, thank God your mother and I wanted to be alone tonight. And now Clark is still looking very angry. All of a sudden, you see the red truck speed out of the barn. Martha comes running out of the house. Clark! Now we see the red truck just keep on going. The X-Styles and Perry then says, he's running. We got to get him. Get in the van. They then get in the van. It has turned into Nightcrawler, where they are now speeding after the red truck.
They're outside.
They are outside the property line. Okay, I'll give it to the X-Styles. But they are speeding down the street.
Yeah, they'll get that part right. But
red truck, X-Styles van. All of a sudden, the red truck does a Tokyo drift out in the middle of the road. And guess what? It's not Clark's driving. It's Jonathan.
Yeah, we got John's Nicodemus driving. He was doing some Nicodemus driving.
Yeah, all of a sudden, I don't think he was infected by the flower. And now Jonathan is looking at Perry and then saying, looks like we fooled you, idiot. Now I want you to stay away from our family. Perry says, cut the camera. It's just the old man. All of a sudden, we see Pete now and Clark running out of the Kent house.
They have camping gear.
And bungee cords.
Yeah,
Hold on.
What is all that rope or bungee cord
we
for?
We need it. Trust me.
Come on, Clark. Don't you want to hang loose? Yeah, so they packed that up.
Why do they have bungee cords? We need it. Come on, let's go. Hey, you want to go bungee jumping?
What if Clark's going to hang up Pete as a scarecrow?
Pete was the one carrying it.
Yeah, he's ready for it.
Hold on. Pete has the rock ready to go at all times.
Oh, what if he's hanging up Clark?
Yeah, that's it.
He's like, this is my chance to finally get rid of Clark Kent. This is my what if.
You know what?
What if Pete was secretly hated Clark and like...
Because the secret has overwhelmed him so much that he doesn't want it on his conscience anymore, so he decides to say...
Give him up, not only to Perry, but to the government.
Yes.
And then John and Martha never see him again. And Pete becomes this rich, like,
lawyer,
entrepreneur.
Because his family's in a
No,
judge.
he just runs his life into the shitter because he got all this money, starts doing drugs because of the guilt, and then it becomes...
No. He buys I want the other route. I want him to make money and then be a lawyer and then buy the Kent farm and then say, not only did I take your son from you, but I'm going to take your farm.
And then he becomes best friends with Lex.
Yes. And then they live happily ever after.
Woo! What a good what if. We added that one to the books.
Let's go to the Talon.
Yeah, we're back at the Talon. Oh my God. This is the bitchiest thing you could have ever done here.
I like that.
All right.
I like that because who do you think you are?
I know you're manager, and I get that. Let's use our words, you know?
Yeah.
Let's use our words.
Let's use our voice. Why don't you say it to my face?
Yeah.
Why don't you say it to my face?
I can't read.
Lana walks over and throws on Perry's table because he is sitting there having a coffee, a little tiny son.
We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone.
And Perry decides to read that back to her. And then all of a sudden, she is still standing there and says, I think you'd be more comfortable at the Wild Coyote. If you're standing there, why did you just put that on the table?
Yeah, well, I was at the Wild Coyote until they threw me out. Wait, I'm sorry. Because remember, he had gone back to the Wild Coyote where Clark met up with him. And then that's when Lex showed up. But that was after he got thrown out. So did he get thrown out again?
He did. Well, let's get to the bigger question, Joseph. When you get fully kicked out of the Wild Coyote, when underage people have been drinking, people have been murdered there, but you're the one that's kicked out, how bad of a person do you have to be?
Oh, shitty.
You have to probably be top 5 worst human beings.
I mean, he said Kansasians last time, so what do you say, the N-word?
This episode has just gone down a whole different rabbit hole.
Dude.
From Perry, though, yes.
I'm surprised Adams doesn't like Perry.
That's true. Lana then says, you know what? I would still like you to leave. Perry says, no, please, Miss Lang, I'm sorry about what happened. And you know what? I've been having such a really, really rough time. And I don't want to ever bother you again. So I promise you, if this were to ever come about, then I'll never report on this. Either way, he's giving her just the worst type of speech that you could possibly give her, and then decides to say, if you never want to see me again, can you just take me to the bus stop, please? And Lana?
No.
Like, that's...
Hey. No.
No.
I'm working.
I'm at work.
And I don't know you.
What are you talking about? The last time that we saw each other, you were asking me about my dead parents. Why am I going to take you to the bus stop? Because this also sounds kind of, once again, like another threat. But Lana,
he somehow manages to convince Lana here.
She agrees immediately, by the way.
Like,
no even thought.
I promise to stay out of your life forever if you just manage to get me a ride to the bus stop.
She says okay. He then takes a swig out of his flask and then has a creepy smile. Pete and Clark, turns out, were planning on camping in the middle of the forest together with no house nearby, and that's what the sleeping bags were for.
Yeah, this is now Brokeback Forest.
What were they doing? Where were they going?
This is Brokeback Forest.
What the fuck is going on in this scene?
And so he's getting a call from Lana here. I think he gets a call from Lana here. He's like, no, don't do anything. I'll be right there. Well, I got to go to Saunders Gorge right now, Pete. And I love, my God, Pete's just like, that's what's just so funny about Clark. He doesn't give a shit because he's like, gets off the phone and Pete's like, hey man, what happened? Oh, got to get to Saunders Gorge right now.
Turns around and then
immediately starts to run. It's like, that's what you're going to leave Pete off on? That's it?
That's it. He wasn't going to tell me
what
anything
a dick.
More. And then Pete then goes, oh, solar flare's still acting up, huh?
Yeah, no. See how far Clark ran? Yo, your speed thing's still out! He's not far, Pete. Lower your voice, dude. We're trying to hide right now.
Pete, did you see me running away? Obviously, it doesn't work. Thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah, good observation, dick.
Yeah, way to go.
As if I'm not bummed enough. I only ran like 2 feet.
By the way, I was right all along. Pete is Shaggy.
But, anyways, Pete is Shaggy, yes.
Yes,
all right, Clark, get in. I'll drive, man. Let's go.
And then Clark decides to jog back because obviously he can't super speed. They put the sleeping bags back in the trunk and they say maybe next time. All of a sudden, they then speed away. They go to the gorge, and what do we see? Lana then running after him, saying, guys, Perry says that he's gonna jump. All we did was want to go to the bus stop, and for some reason, I decided to leave work for this crap. Perry is now standing on the ledge, and he is gonna jump.
Yeah, what the hell? We have reminiscence of the dam with Eric.
Yeah, there's a lot of PTSD coming back to us here on the Smallville pod.
But yeah, so yeah, what did he say? Perry fake sick, basically did this whole elaborate scheme of trying to get Clark to show up because he knew he would. He has the hero complex, and he's like, Mr. White, I can't do anything. I'm not gonna be able to do it, which is kind of true because Clark doesn't know if he actually would be able to save him at this point or not. Well, so Perry wants to dive down, catch him in the act that he's obviously super,
and Clark then says, no, Mr. White, you don't understand. Please, just get off the ledge. No, you understand. I'm not going to leave this ledge until I get my story. I cannot save you. Well, I guess we're going to find out, huh? Perry decides to jump. And what do we notice when Perry jumps, Joseph?
Oh, he had already tied himself to a bungee cord.
Okay. Lana was with him the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Lana would have saw him tie the bungee cord, right?
Yeah, so it didn't show that it was tied whenever he did jump. So I think they tried to play it off as if his ankle just managed to catch there. Like, no joke. I don't think Perry planned that.
What? Are you sure? And, okay, rewinding the scene, I completely agree. He is not attached to the bungee cord. But it was by accident that there was a bungee cord there? What is this, like an amusement park type thing? Where this is a bungee spot
that's
for
how
people
it felt
to go?
me. Like, they made it seem as if it was like an accident.
I'm not even going to say you're wrong, because the cord is not around his ankle whenever he's first in the scene on the ledge.
And it is like a weird jump because then, like, well, first off, you have the whole ledge. Because then Clark at that point would have to jump over and dive, kind of, to catch him. Like, he can't just, like, immediately tackle and whatnot. But now they fall. They both fall together. Then we see the shitty special effects of the flash falling down there. And
Pete and
Perry's
Lana
holding on to Clark.
Pete and Lana run over to the side of the road or side of the fence, and they say, hey, oh my God, we should call the cops, but let's not do that right now. Somehow Perry's ankle is still tied by the bungee, but he is holding Clark. And if Clark falls, who the hell knows what's going to happen?
And it's just funny because as Perry's holding on to Clark, he's like, all right, Clark, time to unleash those powers of yours. Come on, stop playing around. It's like, dude.
You're a psychopath.
You are a psychopath.
And the other side of this is, which is why I brought this up at the beginning of this show, why on earth would, if you're that intoxicated, believe that every time you have been drunk that this person has powers? I'm not sure if I'm that intoxicated that I'm then going to be able to say, I'm so sure on this, I'm going to try to kill myself.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to roll those dice.
I know, it's hard because I'm even with you. Like, if he had actually planned just to have that backup, you know, just tied around his ankle.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I thought the bungee thing
and it's like Clark just makes a fool of himself, exposing himself.
That's what I thought it was. And that's why even in my notes I put, Clark is so dumb. This is why him trying to be that hero is silly to me, because it bites you in the ass because people are crappy. But you don't ever want to believe that. You're just the nice guy, even though you've seen this all in the past. But it also, the reason why I agree with you, Lana would have saw him tie it around his damn ankle. And if she didn't, and she was just looking away at that time, she is the worst friend.
I know.
And that's why she's Freddy.
And if she's that strong, she could just pulled him down.
Yeah. It really does bother me, and the scene could go either way. And what's funny about both ways, it ends up being the same. Oh my God.
It's pretty bad. And so, yeah, now... Basically, Perry's still kind of freaking out, like, dude, use your powers. Pete pulls out that bungee cord we saw earlier, or rope, whatever this is.
Thank God we had it.
Yeah, and so pulls that out. He attaches it to the front of the car underneath, and so they're just going to pull them up, I guess.
Lana then throws the bungee cord over and says, hey, guys, grab it.
Bro, that's a long cord. Why do they have that?
I don't know.
I still don't know why they were bringing that to the camping trip.
Maybe. Hold on. Let's pause it here just for a second. And let's say, what if Pete likes to play games in order for Clark to, like, save him? Like, so Pete likes to live on the edge?
Oh, no, I'm falling.
No,
Clark, help me.
Maybe that's what this is.
Or, to be honest, I'm also thinking this. They have water, like they have lakes and stuff or something. What if by chance the rope is, like, used to, like, make a swing or something? Like, into the pool, or like the water, like to swing off of.
Either way, it sounded like a fun weekend that Pete and Clark were going to have together.
Yo, someone interrupted bro time.
You know.
And his name's Perry White.
And Lana.
Honestly.
Yeah, she didn't have to agree.
Cock block, dude.
She didn't have to agree to give him a ride.
Nah. Yeah, that's true.
And the only
why did we do that?
Yeah, why didn't...
Hold on, I bet you're regretting that decision.
She's the cause of everything.
She's like, God, he really is a piece of shit. Now she truly hates him. I would hate him. I'm not, if he said sorry to me after this, I'm not going to, no.
I would never talk to Perry White again.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Clark manages to grab that rope, and then the original one snapped from the black one, from Perry's ankle. So now Perry's holding on to Clark, but they're getting pulled up.
Oh, and Clark's hand slides down the rope, and it now is the biggest and hurtful rope burn that anybody has seen.
Because this just shows, obviously, all the weight. He can't, like, pull himself up. He's struggling to lift himself, so obviously powers are still out.
Lana is breathing heavily, saying, Clark, oh no, you can't leave me. I won't allow it. Pete is now backing up the car. He is now pulling them up safely. They have now made it all the way back up to the top, and now Lana is no longer breathing heavily. She is relieved. For some reason, she decides to help Perry first, and then realizes, I need Clark first. And then Clark comes over the ledge. Everybody is relieved. What everybody seems to be staring at, however,
is Hector Zeroni's hands after he saved Caveman from falling off of God's thumb.
Dig it on bum bum.
It's literally so reminiscent of that scene. Because, yeah, Perry is looking at Clark, and he's looking at his hands are all bloody because of the rope burn, the struggle getting up there. And it literally looks like the whole scene.
Holes copied Smallville. Once again, we always have to tie in.
That's true, because Holes came out in 2004.
Yes. We always have to tie in whenever movies copy the Smallville greatness.
Yeah.
This is obviously a copy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Holes We called you out.
Yeah, we called you out, dude. We know. So yeah,
Shia
Clark,
LaBeouf, I hope you're listening.
and Clark, of course, is just looking at Perry like, I told you,
I told you. I told you so.
It's like the shit you're doing. And Perry is sweating bullets, man.
Well, he's no longer drunk. Now he's going through his withdrawals.
And now we're back at the mansion. And so Lex here is, I'm sure you'd understand the need for confidentiality.
Is such a dumb...
I will be revealing things that are deeply personal, even hurtful. And of course, Claire Foster, the doctor, that's the point of therapy, Lex. You regain control. Let the feelings be in your control. And so that we can progress and be better from it.
Tomorrow at 10 a.m., handshake. That's the end of this scene. What the hell is that? Thanks. That could have been
Cool.
a phone call.
Yeah, can you send that in an email?
Yeah, great. I'm glad you're finally deciding to grow up, Lex. Glad that it took this entire episode for you to realize this. Wonderful. Let's cut to the Clark barn.
Yeah, where he's just throwing around hay like nothing.
This is too fast.
Hey, Mom. Hey, you sure everything's okay now, Clark? Yeah, look at this, Mom. I'm such a good boy.
He tosses the hay bale to the very top of the barn, then runs up the stairs with this super
And
speed.
catches it himself.
And then puts it down and says, I'm doing great. What a show off. What a douchebag. And the other thing is, Martha then laughs and says, you got a great sense of humor, son. I love you. And then they realized, oh, hey, Lana just saw him use his powers.
No. She didn't, dude. She was too far. She was too far. She was too far.
No!
That couple seconds, like, in between, like, dude, she was too far. She would have been at the door. She couldn't have seen that.
What?
Yeah.
I hate you.
What if she was just, like, seeing Martha? She didn't see Clark, but she just saw Martha talking this way towards Clark, and then just all of a sudden turns up and is like,
Looks up.
ha, funny. And Lana's like, hey, Mrs. Kent, who are you talking to? Oh, it's Clark up there. Sorry.
So Lana thinks that Mrs. Kent is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just saw him use his powers. But she's going to completely ignore that. And they just say, oh, Lana, hey, how's it going? Oh, nothing. I just wanted to come and talk to Clark. So can you get out of the barn? Martha says, yes. Clark and Lana are now once again talking about the whole Perry situation and all the craziness. And Clark says, I didn't get a chance to thank you. Well, I don't understand why you would, because Mr. Perry White thought that you were just...
So incredible. Like, I don't know why he thought all of that.
Well,
But I'm glad I was able to help. I mean, kinda.
That's what I mean. What?
But of course, Clark even says, I wasn't just talking about the gorge. I was talking about just the whole thing with the memories of your parent. I helped dredge that up, and I'm sure, you didn't want that, so I want to thank you for forgiving me. He's like, well, that's kind of why I came by. I went to the graveyard this morning.
This is the funniest thing. Oh, I bet your parents were happy to see you. They're dead, Clark.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? They are dead. So they're not able to see. The other thing I wanted to mention, Lana, I knew you went and saw them at the graveyard because I was there last night at 4 a.m.
I'm starting to think Clark's a little slow and no one's telling him.
The other thing is, where is the graveyard? Isn't it horse distance from her old house? Because she used to always ride her horse to that graveyard at night.
She did, but she's now at the Sullivan house.
No, but that's why I wanted to mention this. Isn't that just right down the street from Clark's?
Yeah. Well, so what she see? Oh, damn! Did Martha say breakfast or dinner?
I think she said
because
dinner.
she said we're keeping a warm plate for you.
I think she said dinner. This is definitely dinner.
Because Lana did say I visited their gravesite this morning, or maybe gravesite in the morning. Worked the Talon, visiting him after the shift.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the other thing, though, when it comes to it, and I just want to get back to it. Does Clark have to go to now the graveyard in order to watch her, or because he has that super ability of
Byakugan X-ray?
Yeah, and he now doesn't have to leave his home. Instead, he can just spy on her
My
from
man
a
can
far
scan
distance.
the whole county of Smallville. He can literally look at every naked woman in town.
Well, yeah, because his X-ray now just pinpoints everything perfectly.
He's like, ooh, who's that? Oh, Chloe's seen that. Lana's seen that. Oh, Martha. Mom, no!
Been there, done that.
And of course, it just kind of gets a little sappy here. But then I realize, that they would have just, wanted for me to not think bad on those memories and whatnot. It just happened, and it's the truth,
So, what did you tell them, Lana, when you went to go and see them?
Because she hadn't visited them for months, so she felt like, oh, I thought maybe they felt like I was ignoring them. They're dead.
I told them the truth, Clark, that I met a boy, that somebody is now in my life, who doesn't love me, that I really
someone
care
I really
about.
care about, and Clark's just making it so we're like,
Lana, stop.
Lana, stop.
It would have been great if Lana then decided to throw out. I decided to then tell them that perfect guy that I was just mentioning, Whitney,
became the biggest piece of shit in the past 3 months.
No, it was Whitney, and he's no longer with us.
I met someone really special, and he died trying to be this other guy I like. But it's okay. I also told them that we were in kind of a strange place right now. Why? But I'm still hoping that we can work it out. That's what I told him. And Clark's just like, Lana, you delusional whore.
But the important thing is, they know they will always be in my thoughts.
They're dead.
But did you see them? And now we got a weird smiling, not even a smile, just a weird stare where Clark says nothing. And Lana says, I better go. I'm so glad I came over here to express my emotions about my parents.
Yeah.
For you to just stand here and not say a damn word back to me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this had happened.
It was dope, right?
This was wonderful.
Now we get to the best scene.
I still think this is easy.
No, this is the best scene because this is your song, dude.
Okay, no, stop spoiling it. Everybody needs
Well, it starts playing now.
Okay. So what our audience needs to understand, this episode, total piece of crap. Except for one thing. This ending may be the greatest of all time that we have had here at Smallville. I know everyone's going to yell, Taylor, you always say that. What about all the kisses? I'm sorry. But when it comes to things like this, there's something that always touches my heart. They get out of the car. Perry and Clark, they finally pull up to the bus stop that Perry has been needing to get on for 3 days. Perry,
I know, he's been at this stop like 4 times,
he
bro.
lives at this stop by now.
And so he's like, you know what? You're kind of a freak, Clark, You do all this stuff, never ask for anything in return. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, wow. And I'm a fool, and you even tried to help me.
And you never asked for anything. So when I saw your face up there after it was all over, I suddenly realized I was about to tear down a good person. Because I've done that so often in the past, but you finally made me realize I should stop.
And he's like in the media world, so he's like, wow, I just couldn't believe, like, yeah, you genuinely just a good person. I just didn't believe that, so.
Trust me, Mr. White, I'm not that good. I'm naughty.
Yeah, I'm on the naughty list this year. Make sure to report that to the Daily Planet.
You believe in the Tooth Fairy, right? I guess you know Santa Claus.
Yeah, so he's just like, I'm just glad nobody got hurt. Chalk it up to hallucinations or the...
DTs.
What is that?
I don't know. All I know is I got a wake-up call, Clark, and it was thanks to you.
Yeah, wake-up call, and that wake-up call has been exactly 17 hours and 5 minutes sober. It's only because he dropped the flask in the gorge.
Yeah, he's not able to carry now. But the bus now pulls up. Clark says, well, I'm glad some good was able to come out of this after all. Perry then gives a chuckle. Clark asks, so what's next? Perry then says, you know what?
You found the guts to go over that cliff and finish. And so I'm going to go ahead and get the courage I needed to finish that story I had long ago. He's like, well, something tells me Perry White isn't the last, or sorry, we haven't heard the last of Perry White.
And I have some friends at the Daily Planet, so I'm going to try to go and talk to them, and I'm probably going to get my job back and then become the editor, because guess what? I'm Perry White. But, by the way, I went over a couple more of your torch stories, and, they're rough, and half the time you bury the lead, but I see a glimmer of hope. And you know what, Clark? If you ever make it to Metropolis, you look me up. I owe you one.
Damn.
Oh, wink, wink, wink.
So he's already got his little foot in the door type of thing for obviously what's to come. If he ends up becoming editor-in-chief at Daily Planet, Clark got the job, dude. Yeah. Clark Kent, journalist, reporter.
So you think during his interview, all Clark did was sit down and say, hey, Perry, you remember?
I don't even think he sat down. He walked in. just how he did when Perry walked into the barn. And he said, no, he was already in his office before he even showed up. He's like, hey, Perry, remember me? I'm that good person.
He put on his resume to Perry, I'll take this job on Thursday.
Yeah, you know how they usually write I owe you, but he goes, you owe me. And that's it. Clark Kent. CK.
Oh, I start Thursday.
Yeah, like, yeah, I start tomorrow. But then we get the Lone Star song.
Yes, but I want everybody in our audience to just envision being on a cliff, looking over that cliff at the ocean view, wind going through your hair, you sitting there just smiling, thinking about your life.
Yeah, dude. This is what Perry walks on the bus to. He drives away to Metropolis.
And if you're Clark Kent and everything in your life has always kind of slipped by and you just want to hang on one moment at a time, sometimes they don't work, but other times they do. And guess what that's called? Life.
Laugh, baby. Because we're walking in Memphis. Walking in Memphis.
Walking in Memphis.
And there was like, what was that reference we looked up earlier? It was like, they mentioned Elvis Presley in this song. And they play this song only with Perry at the end here. And Perry actually idolizes Elvis Presley, apparently.
It's also because this is one of the greatest songs of all time.
But yeah, imagine end credits like this, dude. Just like, wow.
Because what else does anybody need in a Smallville episode besides having the ultimate ending song to be able to wrap it all up?
Dude, seriously, man. And yeah, we end credits on that. Walking in Memphis goes, and like, that's it. That's what we have for Perry until, I'm not even gonna lie, bro, I don't think we see him for like seasons. Maybe
really?
Maybe like 3 or 4 seasons, bro. We don't see him again.
Do you see him whenever he decides to go back on the sauce and decides to start drinking again? Is that when we see him again?
No.
Oh, so he doesn't ever get back to the drinking?
No, I think that was just his X-Styles phase.
Oh, got you. X-Styles makes you drink. Understandable. That's why Chloe was giving it a hard time, because if I'm going to believe anybody, it's Chloe Sullivan.
So... So we're 5 episodes in, you know? And I'm starting to... like, what do you think is the trend so far? Like, what is the theme this season?
So
we haven't gotten really kryptonite powers except the gills. We got gills last time.
So the first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, season 3, it's going to be a banger. We're going to be all about this. And now the past 3 episodes, I'm thinking to myself, oh, no. I haven't liked the past 3 episodes. And I don't know what the theme of this season is. Besides, this is the season of introductions.
It kind of is, but it's still on that theme of like exile in a sense. Like Perry White exiled to X-Styles, like getting away from proper journalism. But yeah, that's Perry. We had a lot of cool fun facts. The episode actually pretty comic heavy. Had a lot of references with that, and I mean, that's pretty much it, dude. We have next week, Relic.
I thought this one was bad. I can't wait for everybody to tune in next week, because again, these are one of those episodes. I hate to get angry at our audience, but if you don't watch Relic with us, I'm so mad that I have to sit through it, and yet others
Dude, that's better than the bad episodes we've had before, though.
Whoa, Relic is up there.
Okay, now.
Let me put it to you this way. Nothing makes sense in Relic.
All right, Cyrus episode. Visitor. Last season, Visitor. Tell me, Relic or Visitor?
I may choose Visitor.
Wow.
I'm going to have to go back. I like saving horses.
I think you just want Clark to be the villain again, to see how he killed Cyrus. Cyrus, you can do good, man. Save that bully who is going to kill you.
Whoa. We already announced Chloe was villain of the year.
You're right. 2. We can't go back. I'm sorry.
And now Chloe has turned a new leaf in season 3. She is now wonderful. We may be seeing some new villains pop up this season. I'm hoping we're going to get more comic book stuff, so then we can throw in more sidebars.
we're definitely going to get more.
I was hoping for more of a villain versus just a drunk, like Chloe in a way.
Yeah.
Just a drunk Chloe Sullivan that doesn't like you, who just wants to be that reporter and uncover the news. This was, to me, kind of blah, but Walking in Memphis really takes it up to about a 6.
Wow. So rating for the episode is a 6, solely really on the Walking in Memphis song.
Without it, it's a 2.
I can go with a 6 because it's like, I mean, really, what makes it worthy for me is just the fact it's Perry White. I mean, yeah, he's not really that great, but it's DC. It's a DC Comics character. That's what the whole point of the show is, man. You know what I'm saying? We got that lore, dude. Got that lore, Superman lore.
I wish it would have been more of Perry was off at war like Whitney was, and then Lionel tried to make up the lies to his wife saying, hey, your husband died in the war, have sex with me. And then Perry came back, found out what happened, and then it was Perry having to figure that out while in Smallville, where Clark had to deal with it.
Or the reason why Lex's mom maybe ran away or died or whatever that happened is because she found out that Lionel was secretly in love with Perry White, and Perry White and him grew up together in boarding school, and they experimented, and they became secret lovers, and to the point where, oh, I'll expose you, Lionel, if you do this. Like, no, you're dead, dude.
We're going to have to end the episode with that because we already have the Pete and Clark going into the forest with the sleeping bags. We don't know what they were planning on for that camp night. And I don't know if I can handle another Perry and Lionel situation. So we're done.
That's cool. Again, this is the two nerds reporting out from the Somebody Save Me podcast. Thanks again for listening. Listen next week for Relic. We have a nice throwback to this. What is it? 40 years ago.
We're
gonna get a nice
1961.
Yeah, we get a nice mystery episode. So we really get into Detective Comics on that one. So catch us next week. Adios,
Betty
waifu.